Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia has placed many general managers and college football head coaches in a tough spot. In short, he has changed the transfer portal expectations.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast a part of your day each and every day right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's show is also one that is going to be fun because we're going to talk about quarterback film reviews. I've got three kids from the Midwest that are very, very good, including a Louisville commit. Obviously, a certain Mr. Brom, the head coach at Louisville, knows what he's talking about there. One of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the class of 27 from the Chicago area, and another quarterback from Chicago who's committed to Nebraska. We'll get into all of those. So quarterback recruiting is going to be a theme moving forward here on the Portal Podcast because 27 recruiting is really kicking off fast. And on top of it, this is also important. We're going to be talking about Diego Pavia. This is the main theme of the show because it leads into all the quarterback stuff and Jared Curtis. They kind of intertwine. There's some Jared Curtis with Diego Pavia we're going to discuss. So first things first, as I share my screen here, Diego Pavia is a guy that I thought was just a good football player for a little while. I just thought he was a guy. Then last year I saw him play. He didn't have necessarily a great game, but I saw him in the game at Auburn. And to be honest with you, he was just clutch. Auburn's defense was pretty good last year. It's even better this year. But Pavia ended up making throws and making plays that were just at the right time, the right moxie, the right decision-making, and they just outlasted Auburn. They didn't have a very good game, but defensively they played well. Auburn made a few mistakes, and Pavia capitalized. And if that is like your worst SEC game, really, against a quality opponent on the road, and you won, that puts things in perspective. They obviously beat Alabama. They obviously had opportunities in other games to win. They capitalized. This year, they squashed South Carolina. They've had a game where they were close against Bama. They did have a few mistakes there. But just over and over again, they're really consistent, and then they just beat LSU. So now they got the big game against Missouri on Saturday, and it's just, in my opinion, an example of why so many college football coaches are excited about the portal, but also worrisome. Because, again, the theme here is he has ruined it in a lot of ways for general managers and head football coaches. Here's the background for Diego. He was at Georgia Military Community College or something like that, 2-year program, transfers New Mexico State, plays with Jerry Kill, who's now on the staff at Vanderbilt, transfers in with him after 2 years at New Mexico State. And I've got his stats up here for those of you that are listening, and I'll read them off. But even as a player that was first year in the SEC playing at P4 football, he was really good. And this year it's just gotten a little bit better. Here are his stats for 2025 thus far, and he's played in 7 games. Passing, 129 of 183, 70.5%, 1,569 yards, 8.6 yards per attempt, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Rushing, 77 carries, 438 yards, 5.69 yards per tote, 4 scores. So he is a threat throwing and running. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Vanderbilt is about as efficient as it gets, but they don't have a bona fide first-round pick at wide receiver. Could you imagine what if you inserted him into Ohio State, put him in the backfield with Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame, put him in the backfield at A&M with the receivers they have, different places, his numbers would be higher. But it's still the moxie and the playmaking ability that this young man has that really defines Diego Pavia. There is nobody like Diego Pavia in college football right now because he's doing it at Vanderbilt. Again, he has ruined it for general managers and head coaches that are looking to portal because they are not. Fan is short for fanatic, and boosters are fans, and they donate a lot of money. Why aren't we getting somebody like this if Vanderbilt can? That question is going to be asked around college football and probably has quite a few times already. It is what it is. I'm not sure you can really change that trend now. My only real question, how do you at least come close? Because manufacturing what he's done there and changing the culture at a program that's a complete doormat in the SEC and a laughingstock around college football P4 level forever is not easy. It's not easy, but they had a pretty close to sellout crowd last weekend against LSU. That's impressive. They've also had an opportunity, if you look at Vanderbilt, to beat some teams. Like they ruined LSU season. They certainly put Brian Kelly on the hot seat. And above all else, they're still in contention for the college football playoff. So again, teams that have bigger, broader names that are not where they want to be, like USC, Michigan, Penn State, Florida. There are a lot of schools that are like, hey, man, why can they do it? UCLA, Virginia Tech. All these programs have already changed coaches. You better believe they're going to be asking, why not us? What is the deal? Why can't we figure it out? But a school like Vanderbilt can? It's a fair question. So what makes him special? This is my own personal breakdown of it, and it is 100% subjective. But again, I've seen him live, and I've watched him play 4 or 5 times on TV. There are 2 things that stand out above all else. No fear, which eventually I imagine is going to get him in trouble. He's going to get tagged and get hurt, but the guy has no fear. I love that. And then secondarily, I don't know why this is. I can't define it. When it's a 3rd or 4th down play and he passes the football, key here, pass. We know he can scramble and run. He's a definite big-time runner. But he's just more accurate in pressure situations, which makes no sense. No sense. He threw a touchdown pass last year in the Auburn game where he just dropped it in a bucket to the running back on a wheel route. And I'm like, that's an NFL throw. When you can do that, you can manufacture just about whatever you want. So again, he's ruined it for GMs and head coaches and other places because like nobody really thought he was a guy because he played at New Mexico State after being at a JUCO. He's 6 foot, maybe. He's just over 200 pounds. Yeah, he's tough. He's got pretty good running ability, but he does not fit this stature. The measurables that are Georgia, that are Ohio State, et cetera, really looks for coming out of high school. And he's just a guy that's, he was a good player, but like even the high school like that he played at, it's called Volcano Vista in Albuquerque, New Mexico. What a name, Volcano Vista. Never heard of it. He was Conference USA's Player of the Year. That's great. But he was the SEC Newcomer of the Year. That's where things got interesting. So I completely believe that he has ruined it for a lot of people around college football, and it's going to get worse for them because I don't think Diego Pavia is really going anywhere. And I really don't think it matters, even if I thought he was, because to be really honest with you, there would just be somebody else. But the cherry on top here is that he did it at Vanderbilt. Again, I want to reiterate, imagine what he would do at Ohio State, at Notre Dame, at A&M. Could you imagine with A&M's wide receivers? Vandy's got good receivers, but with A&M speed, what about at USC? Do you think that Lincoln Riley would like to have him? And I'm not saying Maeva's not really good, but this kid has a different kind of moxie for big plays. Everybody wants somebody that's a true leader, a true game breaker, a true playmaker in the clutch. Show me somebody that is better than Diego Pavia at doing those things over the course of the last 2 seasons. I know where my vote is. I know he's not going to get a national title at Vandy, but if he was at a big-time program, I'd be hard-pressed to bet against him. Eventually, I think Vanderbilt's luck will run out because I don't think they have the depth as some schools. But with Pavia, I'm not positive of that. He finds a way to win when other guys don't. So it's incredible, and a lot of people are gravitating towards him, which leads me to this. When we come back, we're going to discuss Jared Curtis, the 5-star class of 2026 quarterback. He's committed to Georgia, but he is from Nashville. He's been hanging around Pavia a little bit, learning from him. He's going to be at the game this weekend. When the Vanderbilt Commodores host the Missouri Tigers, having a 5-star quarterback on campus. You got to recruit him. Is there any threat to that? I'm not so sure there is, but we got to talk about it. That is next, right here on the Portal Podcast. Today's show is brought to you by Mazda and moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board, that move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. For me, which the guy I just talked about a second ago, name somebody more pivotal in college football or more valuable to their squad than Diego Pavia, the quarterback for Vanderbilt. He makes the run when he needs to. He makes the sight adjustment to throw the football to the right place. He is a playmaker by, honestly, every definition of it. He's what keeps the game moving forward for Vanderbilt. So when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Thank you once again for checking out the Portal Podcast. We're going to be doing live shows pretty much every day around noon. Make sure you check them out. We're going to have the latest news on the portal, recruiting, what's going on with NIL, and there's a bunch, especially with the portal coming up within the next 2 weeks with all these coaching changes. The portal is about to get lit. With that, I have a little recruiting talking point that I want to bring up. I don't think there's going to be a change with Jared Curtis. I think he's going to Georgia. I do. With that being the case, him getting to know Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt Commodores makes it at least possible, keyword possible, that something could change. He wanted to learn from him. He's been around the team. He's checking out the campus and all that. Why not? I understand. I mean, he could come in and start for Vanderbilt as a freshman. That's got to be intriguing. It's obviously a very highly ranked institution. He's a good kid. He plays at a Christian school, literally Nashville Christian. There's no way to think in any way, shape, or form that Jared Curtis wouldn't be a fit at Vanderbilt. But does he want that challenge and all that stuff? And should Georgia fans be, quote unquote, concerned? Probably not. But he is visiting again this weekend, and he's been around Pavia. He's gotten to know him. I think it's something to at least discuss. So here's my take. If he visits this weekend, fine. It is what it is. It's a free ride. And he lives locally. Like, literally, he's a Nashville kid. He's lived there forever. So he's going to hear about the local team constantly. For whatever reason, he's gotten to know Pavia in some way, shape, or form. He probably admires him, which, heck, I do too. He's going to be around. This weekend's one thing. The only thing I'm curious about, does he in any way, shape, or form go back to Vanderbilt again after this? One-time thing, whatever. Whatever. But if it's a second or a third time, then we have a pattern. First time you do it, you fooled me. Shame on me. Second time you do it, you're not fooling me. Shame on you. That's kind of like the old saying. And with whether Jared Curtis or anybody else in this scenario, I mean, Georgia's a renowned program. It's one of the top 5 programs of the last 10 years by any measurement, probably top 3. Probably is. The question becomes, how in the world do you do anything, keyword anything, to keep him off that campus? Because you just don't want it to fester. Because it's not only about signing Jared Curtis, you don't want to make your receiver recruits, O-line recruits, and everything else. If you're the Georgia staff, and obviously it starts with Kirby Smart, how do you make them feel comfy about not having to deal with all of this stuff? What's going on? Them getting asked questions or them asking the staff. You don't want Curtis going back to Vanderbilt for a practice or anything else after this week. Like, it's got to be drop dead. I have no idea if that's going to happen. None. It's possible. I mean, maybe he's a kid that ends up going to another practice. Again, he lives in Nashville. It is a threat. But to that point, if it happens, how do you address it if you're Kirby Smart? Because he's decommitted from you once already and then recommitted. Are you willing to bet that it's a good idea to really harp on him? 5-star recruits always have the leverage, because if you get on them too much, they'll decommit again. I mean, they hold all the power. So what can Georgia do? Just be Georgia. There is no magic elixir here. to fix the problem. I think it's kind of interesting because, you just have to be who you are. And to that point, just as an example, a kid that decommitted recently, Braden Riley, a linebacker at a St. X in Ohio, he decommitted from, I believe it was Northwestern. He just committed to Clemson. Clemson's just who they are. If you don't want to go there, they're okay with it. If you do, that's fine. We are Clemson. This is what we do. Do you want to be a part of this? Georgia has been that way for the most part too, and it doesn't seem to be failing them. I would stay the course. If Jared Curtis jumps off for some reason, I highly doubt he does again. I still think he's going to Georgia. Then it's probably better that you know now. But if he takes a visit to Vanderbilt or anywhere else for that matter, a second time from this point forward, then it's pause. Then it's concern, time to have a conversation with Curtis. Hey, what's going on? But this one visit to the local school that's his hometown, personally, I don't think it's that big a deal. That's just me. Maybe I'm a little overzealous on that, but this is a really weird thing. Vanderbilt hasn't been good in my lifetime. Like truly good. Like you think they could be top 10. They had a couple of seasons there with James Franklin. They were pretty good, but I didn't think they were a top 10 team. This one might be. And to that end, more power to them. I think that Jared Curtis, rightfully so, with it being his local school and Pavia being the same position as him, I understand it. But there has to be a cutoff point because it's perception and reality coming together with other recruits, with how your program is viewed. And you need to have a quarterback recruit every single year if you're Georgia or anybody else. So I'll be curious what Kirby and company do if he decides to take visits to Vanderbilt or, again, anybody else after this. It needs to be parting of the ways. If he wants to text with Diego about learning football, who cares. But the Vanderbilt part, you can't be on campus. You got to, at some point, that's going to be a tough conversation if he wants to still do it. Problem is, again, Georgia has no leverage. This is where college coaches really lose their hair because they don't do well when they're not in control, but Kirby's an elite recruiter. He'll probably figure it out. When we come back, we're going to break down some film right here on the Locked On Podcast Network's Portal Podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at DoorDash. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP, who delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving you more time each time you order and saving you some cash too. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. I'm just going to go with one program and one single player just in general from a theme, not just this past weekend, but overall. Fernando Mendoza and Indiana. They've won at Oregon. They had a win at Iowa. Mendoza is one of the leading Heisman candidates. He's a tremendous player. He's an example of learning your craft, continuing to get better. He was recruited as a P4 player when he went to Cal, but local schools like Miami and Florida State and Florida didn't go after him. He left the state of Florida, went out west, transfers to Indiana. Now he was like he could be the first pick in the draft. Really impressive young man. So just like Fernando Mendoza has delivered for Hoosiers, he has also been in a situation where you can look at it from DoorDash is going to be delivering for you with DoorDash Streaks. You can save up to $250 this year, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Promo good through November the 18th. We are also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5. And if you win that bet, you get $300 in bonus bets across the FanDuel app. If it hits, you can unlock $300 on one $5. It's pretty simple. And to do it, it could be as simple as an over-under, a halftime score, player prop, parlay, whatever it is you want to do. But just find something you think is a really good sure bet for that first one, and you can unlock $300. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today. You will be glad that you did. Thank you once again for checking out the Portal Podcast. We appreciate you stopping in. It's been a lot of fun doing all these live shows. We're going to be doing a lot more of them. And again, we're going to be doing a lot of film reviews. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything more that I really enjoy doing than watching film. So with that, the next person that I'm going to bring up, this is Trae Taylor. He is a quarterback. And to be honest, it's not just somebody that's really good. He has a moxie to him about his game. And Trae also it's not just that he's a good player. Like, he lets it rip, man. And he's confident with what he does technically. He's not a guy that is afraid to throw the football down the field. He's really, really good. The underneath stuff, if you've got a cover three, he'll take the check down. He'll make it work. And if somebody gets out of position, he'll let it rip too. He'll give his guy a chance to go get it. But most importantly, he's accurate. That's why he was a national recruit very early. He plays with 24K with some of the guys I know over there. Shout out to Damon and everybody. They do a great job. So he gets a lot of work in the offseason with big-time receivers. But he also plays at a really good program in Chicago, so that helps. Carmel Catholic is a disciplined football team, plays against quality competition. They're not the most dominant team in Chicago by any means, but they got some players. But he's got the discipline for being at that school overall that's going to help him. I think it's pretty important to have that, especially at the quarterback position. But as you watch him throw it around right here, this is where it gets interesting because play to play, and this is just some basic film. It's not cut up for highlights, really. They could have sped this up. But he's really quick with his decision-making, whether he's under center or not. And again, the touch on his passes are really, really good. He's one of my favorite guys to watch in the class of 27. So I might speed up a few of these here as we kind of go forward. But he's very consistent. If you don't notice anything else about him, the thing that I think you should probably watch the most is simply the fact that Trae throws the ball down the field consistently with the same motion. He doesn't force the ball. That's, by the way, that is not very good camera work right there. He's very, very consistent with his ability to throw the football down the field. And that's a difference maker. He's starting to get pretty good at understanding protections for a young guy too, like where they should be coming from. And right there, that's a great move. Makes a couple guys miss, and look at there. He's known as a pocket guy, but he can run. Players that just extend the play and occasionally take off and get you 5 or 10, they change the game. Even guys like a Julian Sayin at Ohio State, he's only got to do it 2 or 3 times a game to provide a little extra. That's kind of how I look at Trae. You don't have to run all the time. Just go get a first down here or there. And again, this play, I mean, they replayed it here. Pretty basic, but that's really important that you do that stuff. Nice ball placement in the corner. Really nice. We'll watch one more clip here. Different angle, a little closer. Watch the throwing motion. But bottom line, Trae has it going on when he's really letting it rip. And corner ball. Nice job. Yeah, I think Trae, he's committed to Nebraska. He's a kid that probably is going to end up being a starter very early in his career. He's got another year of high school. When he gets there, Raiola will be done. Or let's see. No, that's not right. Raiola will be he'll start his second year. It's the perfect trajectory for him. So I think that'll work out very, very well. This next kid is Israel Abrams. He's another Chicago kid. This one is, I think he's at Montini Catholic, if I remember right. Yeah, Montini Catholic, another school. It's in Lombard, if I remember, just outside of Chicago. And he's a big-time thrower. He's more mobile. He likes to run. He is very annoying to try to get to the ground. And to be honest, I don't know what other position it would be if he played something different. But Israel is a guy that is not much fun to try to get to the ground. And he's got an arm. He's not afraid to let it rip. I'll be curious to see where he ends up in terms of a school. But, man, he's exciting to watch. He likes to take shots down the field, as you can see. And for those of you that are listening, think of a guy that is a traditional pocket quarterback, but every now and then it's like he has an out-of-body experience. His feet get a little jittery. Sometimes he leaves the pocket a little early, but when he winds it up and lets it go, he can throw the deep ball with the best of them. And then he also, as you'll see as this film continues on, it's hitting like that throw there is as good as it gets. Over the inside linebackers who carried pretty well, but he puts it on the money. If you could make throws like that one and the one he just did right there in the middle of the field, it changes games. Here he got a little bit jittery with the throwing, but he still found room. He could have stayed in the pocket there. He needs to learn a little more of that. But again, he's slippery, and he just finds a way to keep himself alive and not allow somebody to get a free shot on him. He's really hard to get to the ground. And he throws sidearm. He'll throw 3/4. He will throw going forward. He'll throw going sideways. It's a little iffy to do that at the college level, but his arm strength and his different deliveries allow Israel to make those plays. Abrams has that ability. I would hate trying to game plan against this guy as a DC or as a defensive backs coach. And right there's the best pure throw he has on the film on this entire highlight film. So again, all these kids are class 27. This young man has not pledged to a school. The first one, Trae Taylor, is committed to Nebraska. For what it's worth, they've got Israel number 2 in the country on 24/7. They love him. I still want to see him be more consistent with his pocket awareness for I'd rank him quite that high, but I get it. Like he reminds me of Jane Daniels in terms of his playing style. I don't know if he's quite that fast, but similar in terms of how he operates. Yeah, he waited on that play right there as long as he could, and he went and got 5-7 yards. That is the perfect scenario that drives defense coordinators crazy because they did everything right, and he still got a positive play that keeps the chains in the right measuring stick for you to get the first down on the next play. That hurts as a D. And if you do what that DB did right there and get smoked, he will burn you as well. Right here, it shows off his running ability a little bit. Just those consistent 5-yard gains every now and then. Throwing on the run. He is a modern spread signal caller. And then that right there, nice touch on the football. We'll end it on that one for him. And we got one more to get to. But Israel Abrams is a really good football player. Now, final guy is one from a smaller school, Jack Sorgi. He's at Tri-West. I don't really know much about it in terms of it's in Liston, Indiana. I'm from Indiana. I still can't remember where that's at. I think it's southern Indiana, but he's a kid that is just on time, accurate, consistent, and it fits because he's going to play at Louisville. Louisville obviously has a quarterback coach, Mr. Brom, that knows what he's doing. So I'm a big fan, and I think that he's going to do very, very well. How long it takes him to get there, I don't know. They just got Briggs Cherry, who's a really good football player. But at the same time, hey, it is what it is. This kid is talented. Maybe he beats him out. Anything is possible. We shall see, as the saying goes. This is a great angle. Some of this film is vertical, which makes it even easier. Some of the teams he's playing against are not very good. This is Southern Indiana, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. High school competition's not that good. He is way better than anybody on the field, and he takes advantage of it, as he should. Watch the footwork. Watch him slide a little bit here and there, make a guy miss, and then find a way to get a pass off or go get yardage like he did on this one. He's a little faster than you might think. Mr. Sorgi gets down the field and makes plays. Sees the pressure, moves to his right. Wasn't a perfect pass, but the recognition to see the blitz, really nice. Nice over-the-shoulder throw. Good pass protection here. If he gets good pass pro, Didn't have something deep. He took the shorter throw. Good to see from a younger quarterback. Remember, this kid is just starting his junior year right now. On time, on rhythm, good touch. Look at that throw. If there was ever a quarterback built to play in Mr. Brom's scheme, Sorgi would certainly apply to that. Good job of drawing the defensive lineman in. Easy first down on a screen. The only thing I'd like to see him do better is just be a little bit quicker with his release. He winds up a little bit sometimes. That'll take care of itself over time with refinement. But his recognition, especially pre-snap, is really good for a younger football player, and that's really important. So thank you, folks, once again for checking out the Portal Podcast. Truly appreciate you stopping in. This is a lot of fun for me each and every day. I like doing these. We're going to be doing more and more of these each and every day here on the Portal Podcast. Please like and subscribe. Make sure that you're always dialed in for everything we got going on here on the Portal Podcast. If you have not already and you're on Apple, please download via the automatic download button. Make sure you do that. But we will see you again soon here on the Portal Podcast.